So Victor Gyökeres is an Arsenal player. It's a here we go. And that's why I'm live. I don't normally do live reactions to transfers, but there's a few of you saying Manchester United in the mud. Look, I unashamedly would have done this deal if Arsenal hadn't have done it. I unashamedly would have hijacked it. I mean, you're talking about a football club here that is on its arse in relation to Manchester United and not Arsenal, which is ironic, really, because they've got arse in the name. But Arsenal are one of the best clubs in Europe and therefore one of the best in the world. They finished second the last 2 or 3 seasons. They're in the Champions League. They're going to be in the Champions League. They're a striker away, in my opinion, from winning a title. And Gyökeres is the best striker in Europe. I have been saying this for 6 months. I didn't know he was going to be Arsenal's guy. I thought it was going to be Sesko. And the minute Arsenal got linked to him, I said, I hope they get Sesko, because I think that he is incredible. I'm not bitter about it at all. I can completely understand why you choose Arsenal over Manchester United. You can't sit there watching United like I do on the United stand with all the United fans every week and go, we're an attraction. We are on our arse. It's a massive job to get Manchester United back. And at 27, you'd look at that if you're Gyökeres and go, do I go there and get in a project that might not work? I mean, Man United have had more bloody projects than Alan Sugar. It's on The Apprentice. Like, you could waste the rest of your career. Look at Bruno. He's been on a project at Man United for years, not been anywhere near a Premier League title or a Champions League. So you can understand why a 27-year-old would choose Arsenal. And you can understand why that's what he wants. I can understand why Arsenal have chosen him over Sesko as well, because I think Arsenal with Sesko, you are bringing in a younger player who has huge potential, but Arsenal have finished second for the last 2 or 3 years, and they need to bring somebody in that can hit the ground running now. The pressure is not on Gyökeres. The pressure is on Arsenal and Arteta to win the title now. I mean, look, it's been an incredible summer transfer window, and in some ways, I really looked at this summer transfer window and thought Arsenal get a striker and it gets interesting. The volume of transfers that Liverpool and Chelsea and Man City have made means that Arsenal with a striker now doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the league. But they've gone out and done what they needed to do. They've done more than that. They've brought good players in as well. But there will be people out there now who sit there and go, oh, he's not that good. He's done it in the Portuguese league. Look.
The end of the saga. What a moment for Arsenal fans, because the saga is over. Victor Gyökeres to Arsenal is a here we go. The agreement, the verbal agreement, still waiting for the parties to sign all the contracts, but the verbal agreement between Arsenal and Sporting has been completed today around lunchtime in London with the agents of the player in London, with the director of Arsenal, Andrea Berta, on it, and in direct communication with Sporting. After, guys, last night, I told you on Monday, Man United were offered again the chance to enter into the story for the Victor Gyökeres negotiation. Basically, from Sporting, the message was something like, we are still not closing with Arsenal, so match the bid, come into the race. Man United considered that possibility, but what I can tell you is that they never sent any formal proposal, because the answer from the player was always the same. Only Arsenal Football Club. For Gyökeres, there was no other option. Arsenal Football Club. That was the message of Gyökeres to the president of Sporting. That was the message of Gyökeres to his agent. That was the message of Gyökeres and his agent, Hasan Çetinkaya, to all the other clubs. We said about the Man United opportunity. Saudi clubs 10 days ago all got the same answer. Arsenal Football Club. So, trust me, this story is now at the signing stage, so let's wait for the formal steps. But as soon as this story will be official, I think Arsenal fans should really rate what Gyökeres did to be an Arsenal player, because he had crazy money proposal from the table from Saudi. Also the opportunity with Man United to eventually match the bid, pay what Sporting wanted and hijack the deal. But for Victor Gyökeres was only Arsenal Football Club. And when a player is exposing himself like this, and the agent together with him, it's something really strong. So Gyökeres is going to Arsenal. As mentioned, the agreement will be for 63.5 million euros plus 10 in add-ons. So this is going to be the agreement. Also important to say, guys, that these add-ons have been the crucial point of the story, because they've been negotiating on the structure of the add-ons for more than 10 days, always with some issues on sporting side. They always requested for more, but then Gyökeres, with a strong position, always said, I'm not coming for training. I'm not going to play for Sporting anymore. I want the club to respect what we said, and so now the agreement is done. Don't forget that Arsenal pays 63.5 million euros because the agent of the player will reduce his commission in order to facilitate the deal. Gyökeres also took some part of the salary and gave up on this part of the salary to facilitate the negotiation. So everyone did their own part in this story, but finally now Mikel Arteta is ready to have the striker he wanted, Victor Gyökeres, after a really crazy story, crazy negotiation, very long saga. Now Gyökeres to Arsenal is a here we go. And is a fantastic news for Arsenal because they add one more player. Meanwhile, Christian Mosquera is traveling to the pre-season tour after all documents signed between Arsenal and Valencia. So the player is on his way to be with the squad of Mikel Arteta. So for Arsenal, all the pieces of the transfer window are going to the right place. Don't forget that there is still the opportunity for Arsenal after they extended the contract of Ethan Nwaneri, because Nwaneri contract is extended, is signed, is done until 2030. Arsenal still consider the possibility of adding one more offensive player. Eberechi Eze remains a strong option. They had very good contacts with the player camp already weeks ago, waiting to see when and if they will approach Crystal Palace. Don't forget that Arsenal also appreciate Xavi Simons, but Chelsea are really pushing on that one at the moment, so let's see what's going to happen there. But for sure, Arsenal are not done on the market, and I think there could be also more things to keep an eye on in case there will be some outgoings. So let's wait, let's see. For Arsenal now, these days were really important in the Gyökeres saga, and they got it done. So now, let's wait, let's see, and then at that point we will understand more on the next movements for Arsenal. But I can say that I don't think Arsenal are done in the market yet.